Hello, and thanks for joining us. My name is Larissa Greene, and today we're going to talk about futures trading in IRAs. And we have guest Ilan Levy-Mayer joining us today to talk about futures, what they are, how trading works, and kind of really give us the information that you may not know about futures. Again, my name is Larissa Greene. I'm with Advanta IRA. I'm hosting today. I'm going to tell you a little bit about IRAs before we bring Ilan on, but here's my contact information in case you have questions about self-directed retirement accounts and how they work. We're going to talk a little bit about the types of accounts and the investments we see, and then we're going to get right into futures trading. I won't hold this up too long, but in case you're not familiar with Advanta, I want to provide you with some information. So please just keep in mind that Advanta IRA and its employees do not provide investment advice. All the information here is for educational purposes only. We do not give investment advice. We do not give legal advice or tax advice, to make sure that you're engaging the professionals on your team when you have those questions. If you don't have professionals that can help you, please let us know. I might be able to refer you and give you some good information for professionals that have helped our clients in the past. We have been in business for over 20 years. We do have two offices, so I'm located in the Clearwater, Florida office, and then we also have one in Atlanta, Georgia. But we can actually help anyone anywhere in the world with a self-directed retirement account, as long as their retirement account is US based. So that's the key. We have over $3 billion in assets under administration, and all of our clients receive the same dedicated account management service, regardless of the investments that you're making. So you have a dedicated person to help you with that account from start to finish. That is really what we pride ourselves on, is our customer service. But we also, if you've joined us before, you also know that we have a lot of great education, like the topic that we're going to be covering today. So we typically have 2 webinars. We also have a podcast and a blog, and we have our own networking event, and that's the last Friday of every month. So if you'd like to join us for more events, if you'd like to catch up on our blog, please let us know. Feel free to register on our website for more information. So what is a self-directed IRA? I think we hear this term a lot, and sometimes you even see it with brokerage firms, but our definition of a self-directed retirement account is something very specific. So we're talking about unique investment opportunities, things that brokerage firms will not typically hold. That could be something like futures trading, but it's also things outside of the market as well. I kind of put up here a list of alternative investments, and the reason I like to provide this information is because the IRS has really not said, here are the only things you can invest in, which many people kind of have that backwards. They say, well, where's the list of things I can invest in? Actually, what they provide instead is a list, a very short list of things you can't invest in and people you can't invest with. But typically, as long as you're making an investment for investment purposes, you can do it in an IRA account. And you can see here, there's just a lot of asset classes that we could cover and talk about what alternative investment options are out there. So real estate, of course, is going to be something we pretty commonly talk about here at Advanta, but it's not the only investment option out there. And of course, you see on here, there's different things like private money lending and things of that nature, but we also have clients invest in things like cryptocurrencies and gold and silver bars and coins, and the list goes on and on. And if you have any questions about that or the rules for self-directing, please feel free to email me. I'm happy to send you a webinar on the rules and different investments or asset classes that we can hold, since today's that's not going to be the focus of the webinar. I do like to talk a little bit about the different types of accounts, because a lot of times people will ask me about holding a Roth IRA for self-directing. They'll say, well, I can't invest in alternative investments because I don't have a Roth IRA and I don't want to pay the taxes in order to hold that type of account. But the truth is, you can self-direct your retirement account. You know, I like to say if it ends in IRA, you can self-direct it, but there's also other types of accounts too. So of course, the ones we're more familiar with would be traditional and Roth IRAs, but of course, if you've inherited an IRA, you can always transfer some of that over in order to self-direct. We do hold plans for small businesses, so solo 401ks, SEP IRAs, and simples. And then former employer plans. So I'd like to mention this one, especially because a lot of times people say, well, I didn't know I could move that to an IRA in order to make alternative investments. And so if you have an old 401k, 403b, TSP, and the list goes on, you can roll those funds into an IRA without tax and penalty, and also diversify your portfolio to self-direct. So you have a lot of options there. Not on this list that we can also help you with are health savings accounts and education savings accounts as well. So the rules for self-directing those accounts, those types of savings accounts, are going to be exactly the same. And so we can help you with those as well. And so with that, I'm going to bring Ilan on. He's going to talk to us today about futures trading. Something I want to mention is that we will take questions throughout, so please feel free to type your questions into the question box and we'll get those answered as time permits. And I also did load the slides as a handout, so if you look in your right-hand navigation, you're going to see a drop-down box for handouts, and you'll see slides are saved for you as a PDF so that you can download them and review them later. Ilan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Larissa. It was actually very informative to hear what you shared about the different investments you can use in the IRA account.
Well, thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, and welcome everybody. And hopefully I'll share with you a few pointers, a few ideas, a few thoughts that you were not aware of before, and will make you go to work and see if this is something that makes sense to you, that you like, and go from there. And during this presentation, I'm going to be sharing basic information as well as more advanced trading ideas and techniques. Depends on the questions we get and the flow of the webinar. So thanks again for coming, and thank you, Larissa and Advanta. Very similar in some ways between Canon Trading and Advanta. We've been here since 1988. And if you go on our website, what you will see is the almost 5-star review. I believe it is a 5-star review, and I think we're the only futures brokerage house that has that. And so futures trading, we're going to talk about a variety of topics. But the main thing before you even start, and you can read the risk disclaimer, is that you feel comfortable with the amount of capital you're going to put at risk. We call it risk capital. And when we're talking about IRA, it's even more so risk capital, because that's supposed to be your retirement funds. So you need to decide how much of that IRA, if at all, is suitable for you to try and trade futures. And I'm going to show you more than a few ways to trade in futures. But the bottom line is futures trading is risky and people can lose all their funds. And you need to decide if that is something that is suitable for you or not after you educate yourself. And I'm going to go about Canon very briefly. Like I said, we've been here since '88. And what do? We help clients that want to work with a broker one-on-one. So you can always get a broker on the phone, email, chat. We help clients who want to trade on their own. Meaning if you know what you want to do and you have a system in mind or method in mind, you want to trade the 0 days to expiration options on futures, we can set you up with a platform and you can do that. You want to day trade the micro NASDAQ, we'll provide you with a platform, or you tell us what platform you want, and you can do that, and we'll be here to assist and service you. We also help clients who want to utilize automated trading, either automated trading that they already purchased and signed up before they came to us and they need help connecting, or we can also share with you some of the algorithmic systems that we offer, and you can do that. The more professional, higher end clients will also ask about how can they host a server by the CME and how can they automate their own systems, etc., etc. But we're not going to dive into that. I've been an AP and the vice president here at Canon since 1998. Before that, I played basketball for a living, and even though I loved it, I didn't understand how lucky I was until I had to start waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We are on the West Coast, and come and deal with the markets. But in its own way, it's exciting. It's not boring, and a lot of similarities between trading and being a broker in sports. So that's about that. I have in-depth experience with options, trading algos, technology, and just trading in general. And so futures trading, you can chat GPT it, you can Google it, it'll give you a much better definition. The way we see futures contracts, it's a product that you can trade, that you can speculate on price going higher, price going lower, price staying in a range. And we offer future contracts on a variety of markets. And in a second, I'm going to ask Larissa to allow me to share my screen, but not yet. But you will see on the screen, you'll see markets like mini S&P 500, mini NASDAQ, Bitcoin, micro Bitcoin, gold, silver, crude oil, wheat, gold, I mentioned gold, coffee, cotton, feeder cattle, currencies of sort, natural gas, crude oil, and more. So a lot of different products that trade under the futures trading arena, and they all trade on a centralized exchange. Most of them are on the CME, some of them are on the I, some of them on Eurex, and we have some other markets that trade in a global exchange. And that is one of the main attractions, is that you're trading on a centralized, legitimate, very compliant exchange that match buyers and sellers. So you can trade with your IRA account from your house in Ohio and have the same exact advantages or disadvantage as a professional trader that will be trading in Chicago, for that matter. There's more than a few attractions in futures trading. The leverage, and just here, write down this number. Right now, we're starting to talk, and it's this number is 23,855. That is the current price of the mini NASDAQ 100 futures contract. And I better write it myself, 23,855. And that will give you a very good example of what leverage is. So today we had a CPI report that came out with a very small surprise, but was positive for stock index futures. Markets went up, and mini NASDAQ is up almost 1%. The Dow is up 1%. And a move like that on the mini NASDAQ is 220 points. Each point is $20. So you're talking about 4,400 in your favor or against you in 2 hours because of the leverage. So it's a double-edged sword. It's potential high profit, potential losses. But there's so many other things that you can do with futures trading. Option traders, they love the liquidity in many of the markets, and they'll utilize it a lot of time in speculation to try to make money. And I'll share some of those techniques with you. But also a lot of the futures trading is done by hedgers. And hedgers are, a lot of people will know, farmers. Some people will know maybe producers of different commodities, coffee, cocoa. Trucking company utilizes a lot of gas, can hedge themselves. We have a lot of hedgers in the natural gas market. Some clients and institutions will hedge their Bitcoin exposure. Many will hedge their exposure to stock market portfolio by utilizing futures that focus on different segments, like the S&P 500, the broader one, the mini NASDAQ 100, which is more high tech, and you got the mini Dow, etc. So that is the main part, but most clients that will trade with an IRA will do so for speculation. And the speculation may be in a way, hey, I'm going to try to hedge my my stock portfolio, but in reality, clients will try to figure out a way, how can they squeeze profit from trading futures, and what type of ways can they trade futures. Before we jump into it, a few pointers here about the benefits and why institutions and retail clients trade futures. The producers and consumers, it helps them stabilize their pricing. I'll give you an example. I have more than a few cattle growers that need to hedge. So they'll use the futures market. With me personally, we'll use a lot of options to try to lock in a price and protect them from a price drop, because they buy the calves when they're babies at a weight of less than 500. They're going to sell them when they're around between 800 to 1,200 pounds. In between, cattle will experience a lot of price fluctuation. So if they paid a certain amount for it, they want to make sure that they can lock in a specific price, and that's what hedging is about, and that was the initial intent and purpose of commodity trading. However, speculators that are trying to make money and trying to benefit, they provide liquidity for the hedgers and for the whole industry. Okay, before I share some ideas and thoughts and maybe answer some questions, who should not be trading futures? If you do not have an appetite for risk, I suggest you step away. If you don't know what you're doing, don't try to jump into futures without prior education. You may get lucky because so-and-so told you that gold is going to go to this price, and you called a broker, open an account, you bought some call options, and you made money. It'll probably be your worst enemy, because now you're going to think you're a trader and you're going to inject more money, and you'll just, you know, roll the dice, as they say, and your chances are slim to none. And if you do not have risk capital, then you should definitely not trade futures. And not just that, you will 99.999% lose money, because there's a saying in our business is scared money cannot make money. And it's true. I see it every day. I experience over the years. And a lot of those sayings that my colleagues shared with me, and some of them used to work on the trading floor, that came from the trading floor, are very true today, and after 30 years or so. So once you have an IRA account with a company like Advanta, it's quite simple to open a futures account on our side, specify that it's going to be utilizing IRA money, and then once that account is set up, you instruct Advanta, hey, I want you to wire X amount of dollars to my futures trading account. So now the account is funded. You can trade the account in multiple ways that I will share with you as the presentation goes on. And at any point, you can instruct us, Canon Trading, the broker, hey, I want to withdraw money and put it back into my IRA account, or I want to do whatever it is. And that's how you trade futures, using your self-directed IRA account. And for some people, I think it's a good idea. For other people, depends on their overall investment strategy, overall portfolio, how much risk capital and how much time they have. It's something to consider. We've seen not a lot, but more interest from clients who are looking to trade automated trading algorithms, automated systems, and they want to use the IRA money. They understand it's a higher risk, more aggressive type of trading, and they take that risk and they set up the account, and then they fund the futures part of it over here, so we can, quote unquote, turn on the algos, and the algos will run. So let's talk about a few ways to trade futures, and I'm just going to take a quick little pause, drink some coffee, and if you have any questions, please let me know before I proceed.
I don't see any questions that popped up yet, Ilan, but I just want to remind everybody the question box is in the right-hand navigation. So if you do have questions, get them typed in there and we'll get them answered for you.
That's all good. It's still 9:19 a.m. in Los Angeles, so I will be sipping on my coffee throughout the presentation. So the first method is what people used to do for years until the advent of online trading, is they would call a broker and they would trade with a broker. And there's so many different ways to trade with a broker. Some clients know exactly what they want to do, and they just need the broker to execute it for them in a good way, and also to monitor, because maybe that person is busy. For example, we have some farmers that, in addition to their hedge account, they like to speculate, because now they have experience in futures. They know what the grains markets are doing, where they're moving, or at least they feel like it, and sometimes they want to take advantage and speculate. So client John may call broker Mark and say, hey, I want you to buy me some puts on the November beans because I think we're going to go lower. And Mark will verify the order, they'll chit chat, and then John will say, hey, and if you see beans break below 10, please give me a call. So that's one example. Another example of broker assist is where the client is actually looking for the broker to come up with ideas, and the broker will discuss their risk tolerance, how much they like to risk per trade, how aggressive, the initial deposit, and go about it this way. Some clients, and it happened in the past, when crude oil went below zero, we were getting calls left and right because people said, hey, it's not going to stay below zero. I want to speculate. How do I get started and open an account? So they open an account and we try to help them the best we can to set up the futures trading account and then give them some ideas on how you can speculate on that specific event that happened. Obviously, when there's war, people will speculate, hey, is gold going to go up? Where's the stock market's going to do? I want to take advantage of it. And that's when you will call our office and speak to a broker, and the broker will say, okay, we can do it. We can use futures, we can use options, we can use option spreads. He'll have to understand how much knowledge the client has and how much education and how much involved the client want to be and how much time they have. So that is one method, the broker assist. Method two is you know what you want to do, but you want to utilize your IRA money, and you have experience and you have time. And that's when we gonna onboard you, help you get set up, provide you with aggressive commissions and margins, and without compromising the level of service. You'll still be able to talk to a broker at any time and communicate via email, chat, etc. And we have traders of all sizes, shapes, and techniques. As low as $1,000, not for IRA accounts, but for regular accounts. But for IRA, the minimum I believe is $10,000, to as high as 9 figures, $50-60 million that are trading using IRA money. And they'll utilize techniques such as selling options, collecting premium that I will go over and explain what it means. They will use techniques such as day trading. Remember that I just told you that at 23,855 price on the mini NASDAQ, as we speaking, and it's been about 9 minutes, that NASDAQ is 20 points higher. And that translates right there to $400, either in your favor or against you. And I will share a chart of the mini NASDAQ when I show my screen here in a few. So what does Canon do? Well, we can help you select the trading platform, select the clearinghouse, and help you get set up and be here whenever you need to, because there's always something that people need when they trade futures. First notice day, last trading day. Hey, I have a small margin call. What do you recommend? What do you advise? Etc. etc. So I want to jump into some techniques and ideas of trades.
And Ilan, before you go on, we did have a question pop up, just understanding, futures a little better. Basically options trading, but not on stocks in the stock market, instead trading options on non-stock market assets. Is that true?
That is true. So the options will be on the underlying futures contract. So we have a lot of traders that will trade options on the mini S&P 500. And the mini S&P 500 is a futures contract that is based on the S&P 500, just like the mini NASDAQ 100 is a futures contract that is based on the NASDAQ 100. And those underlying assets, which are the future contracts, have options, calls, puts, and many different spreads and techniques that you can do. And something that really has grown tremendously in popularity is the 0 days to expiration options. And Larissa, if I can share my screen.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. So now you're going to see my screen, and I will show you the options that I'm talking about, the 0 days to expiration options. Like this morning, as I woke up and checked the CPI numbers and saw that the market is starting to run, this 6410 call option right here.
And we can't see your screen yet, Ilan.
Oh, you cannot? Okay,
no.
Hold on a second. Let me make sure then. Sharing. Stop sharing. Showing screen. Screen of main monitor. Just my main monitor.
Okay, we got some feedback there that everybody else can see it, so for some reason I
Oh,
can't. So go ahead.
okay. Can you still see it then, everybody, hopefully?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, so this option, here's just the quote unquote the visualization of where it traded. Right before the report, it was trading for about 12 points, so $600. And this is an option that's going to expire today. So if somebody had the directional bias of I want to buy this option because I think the stock's going to go long, and he or she did so, they would buy it at 12 point, which is $600. And right now it's going for 45 point, which is nine. No, it's not nine, it's more. It's 45 times 50. It's $2,250, assuming you went in the right direction and that you bought this option. Now, on the same token, you have people that like to sell the premium because they say, hey, I'm going to sell an option, a call option out of the money that expires today. I'm going to sell a put option that is out of the money that's going to expire today, and I'm going to collect a premium of, let's say, 20 points, which is $1,000. And in their head, they're saying 80% of the time, those options will expire worthless because the market does not have those wide ranges that often. And they'll do their statistical analysis and they say, okay, the S&P moves more than X amount of points so many times a month. It usually happens on days of big reports. So I'm not going to be selling option premium on those days. But on other days when the market has narrow range and there's good statistical chance that I can collect the premium on both sides, I will sell the call, collect money. I will sell the put and collect money. And they'll do it on the future side, just like people do it on the equity side. And there's more than a few advantages for using the future options, the liquidity, the fact that you do it in an index, meaning the full S&P 500 and not just an individual stock. That's helpful. And that is one idea. So I think this is the same slide that we're on. Yes. So that is the 0 days to expiration options. We have them on mini S&P, mini NASDAQ. I believe the metals and the energies are getting expiration of 2-3 times a week. So this option market has really been taken off, and people will speculate on it in many different ways. And they like the futures. They like the ability that they can do spreads on option. I'll give you an example of a spread. Hey, I'm going to buy the 64.10 call, and I'm going to sell the 64.60 call. So they're looking to capture part of the move, risk a little bit less money, and it's called a vertical call spread. Some people will say, hey, I'm going to buy a put and a call because I'm just expecting a big move. And if that big move happens, I'm hopefully going to make money more on one side than I lose on the combined premium. And this is just really very, very briefly, and I'm happy to dive in if there's an interest, but I don't want to bore people or get into a situation where we're talking a little bit too much. And if you go on our website under education, you will see a lot about those options, about the options trading 101, about the trading the weekly mini S&P 500 options, and even more so, we have the Trading University with a lot of trading courses that you can take on your own at your free time and really gain some knowledge into trading futures, options on futures, and specific markets and segments. So options, one way you could do it. Again, how much time do you have? How much knowledge do you have? Do you have time to be in front of the computer? Do you have the desire to do so? Do you like it? Because if so, a very, very large segment of our traders are what we call day traders. And day traders will look to trade markets that are liquid and have movement, most anyway. And there's a list probably in my head of about 12 markets that you can really focus and day trade because they have movements, liquidity, mini S&P, mini NASDAQ, the mini Dow, the treasury bonds, the gold, the silver, the copper, crude oil, natural gas, the different currencies, Just like people trade Forex, people can trade currencies on the futures exchange. That is being done on a centralized exchange, so the broker does not, quote unquote, trade against you. You're just trading on the big screen and the big field against everybody. And then there's the grains, there's the softs. So a lot of different markets to day trade. And people ask me, so, okay, how do you day trade? Well, that's the $1 million question. That's the $1 million question, and I'll show you a couple of examples. People will use very short time frame charts. Let's take a look. This is the mini Dow chart. And let's take a look at a 10-minute chart. They'll put the chart on, they'll expand it, they will code it, they will use different studies and techniques to try to figure out a pattern. Some traders will look at what we call order flow, and to see, they're trying to find the imbalance between buyers and sellers. Where's the flow coming from? More buyers, more sellers. And like I say, there's 99 different ways to lose money day trading futures. And I'm saying lose because day trading futures is probably the most lucrative and attractive technique or style, but it's also the one that we see probably the less likelihood of success, or at least long-term success. But that doesn't mean that it cannot be done, but I'm just being honest with you from what we see as brokers. And again, let's go into the NASDAQ, because we're just talking about the NASDAQ. And I'm going to change this chart into a different chart. It's called a range bar chart, because a range bar will complete faster when the market moves faster. So it'll generate for you signals faster than if you have to wait for the time to just go by. So in this example, you'll see this is a buy signal over here. That was earlier today. And yet another buy signal. The bars are all greens. It's a very strong bullish day so far for now. So those are certain buy signals. And then over here is what I call exhaustion. And personally, I will use this exhaustion to take profit if I'm long. If I'm very aggressive, I would maybe look for a very quick short-term short, but knowing that I'm going against the trend. Because when we start speaking, it was 9 a.m. my time, which is 11 a.m. Central, right around here. And the market was, if I remember correctly, I wrote down 23,855. Right now, it's almost at 80. Like I said, let me show you real quick. What does it mean as far as money per? So this is a 700 and change move. Again, if you're stubborn and be like, oh, this market is way too high, I'm going to go short, you'd be down already close to $800 just on a single mini NASDAQ contract that you'd be able to day trade in your account, and it goes against you in minutes or in your favor, and that's what attracts people. They wanna go and they want to do that quick trading, and I'll show you an example again. And I'll wait to get a setup as we speak, but I'll show you an example with real-time execution of how it looks like. So that's day trading, and some people will day trade mini NASDAQ versus mini S&P. They feel like, okay, I feel like the technology today is going to be stronger, so I'm going to go long the mini NASDAQ and short the mini S&P. Other clients and trader can do the same with markets like crude oil, gold. I mean, crude oil every Wednesday, which is tomorrow, has a report 7:30 in the morning Pacific time that will move the market. Traders will try to speculate on it. And how do you do it? That's where you got to be careful, because I've seen a lot of, sorry for my language, crap on the internet where people will try to sell you the dream. I'm going to teach you how you can make $100 a day consistently, because all you have to do is make 2 mini S&P points. And if you do those 2 mini S&P points and then you build it to the point that you're trading 10 contracts, it's going to be $1,000 a day. And then they forget to tell you of how hard it is, and how many obstacles along the way, and the rest of the information that you need to understand. And a lot of it comes from experience. And clients will ask me, so, okay, I really want to day trade. What do I do? Understand what you're trading, open a demo account so you can practice with risk-free, monitor it. And you feel like, oh, I have a small edge here, I have a knack for it. You start trading live and you'll use what we call the micro contracts because they're smaller. And then you'll keep a journal, continue to expand and grow. And if you feel comfortable, then you'll move into trading what we call the bigger contracts, which are the mini S&P and the mini NASDAQ and the gold and the crude, etc. But it's a process, and the people that start right away and make money right away, it's probably their biggest enemy. And we have a story here of a client that used to trade silver and really just got lucky. He was calling the right shots and he was in sync with the movement, and he took his account from a small amount to a few $100,000. But as he was quote unquote gambling and speculating and did not protect his long-term position, when silver crashed, that was many years ago, he lost the whole account, including the initial deposit. That's because he was uneducated, did not understand how to protect. He really thought that he's a trader, that's it, he's gonna quit his job and that's what he's gonna do for a living. And again, this is a war story. There's many of them. So day trading is one, and I do not, unfortunately, this market just keeps going up, so I don't have a way to show you a trade. But if I was to trade this account right now, this is a demo, I would look for a pullback in this market. And let me see. And probably based on the chart that I'm seeing, if I can get in at around this 51 level, I would try to buy one. So I'll put this order in. This is how simple it is to place a trade. I just click, there's a working order. And the order right now is working. Okay, let me just do the order working order, sorry, to buy a mini S&P 500 at 64.51, which is about 6 points away from here. As you can see, the market right now is at 64.5650. You can see my one lot that I'm trying to buy. I'm trying to jump in. And let me see if there's any current positions. And okay, this is a position from before. There's a long crude that is going against me, and there's a long mini S&P that is doing well. But we'll go back to that a little bit later.
And Ilan, if
yes.
this is a good time, there was a few questions.
Yes.
One question popped up. What is the risk versus reward on the $700 profit? If you could explain that a little more.
Well, this is such an hypothetical example, and my initial instinct was to take a trade as soon as the webinar started to actually emphasize exactly what the webinar attendee was asking. And that's a great question. And it's really up to you. I mean, did you buy or not? When you got in, because it's always easy to look back. Like right now, when we're going to go and look at this example that I'm sharing with you, where I'm going to try to buy another contract at 64.51, if I get filled, I'm going to look at the chart. And based on the chart, I'm going to risk 6 points on the mini S&P, which is $300. And I'm going to try to make 10 points, which is $500. So you're looking at 300 versus 500. We do the math, it's 2 to 3. In the example of the 700, it's not really an example. I was just trying to share how much those markets move and how much will leverage intensify the loss or the profit.
Okay. We had a few other questions. One here is, does your platform have any restrictions to actively speculating on, and I might say this wrong, so forgive me, MBT, MET, MSL?
No, not exactly, but we have to set you up properly. Meaning, once the account is open, we have to set you up to trade the micro Bitcoin, the Ethereum, and the other cryptocurrencies that are trading on the futures exchange. And as long as you have the margin, and as long as the markets are, those products are enabled for you, you can go ahead and day trade, swing trade, and it just becomes a margin situation. Meaning, do you have enough money to trade what you want to trade?
I also had a few questions about the platforms that you work with. I don't know if you want to encourage people to reach out to you or if you want to share the platforms
No,
that
of
you work
course, we can, was there a specific question or just in general?
with. We had a few. So one is, do you hook up to TradeStation and IBKR? Another one was asking about TradingView to trade.
So yes, TradingView we do. And if you go into our website and click on the navigation platforms, you'll see most of the platforms that we offer. TradeStation, we may be able to offer this in the near term because we are talking to them to offer their platform, but right now we don't. And IBKR, which is Interactive Broker, which is a very nice, large company, we don't. I'm not going to say they're competition because they're huge. They trade stocks, futures, bonds. They trade everything. They have a good system. However, when it comes to futures, they do not have the ability to offer the day trading margins that we do, or to provide assistant and broker advice like we do. Our specialty is futures, and futures it's not you don't have to be a rocket scientist, but there is some knowledge and information that takes time to acquire, and our brokers have that. All of our brokers, except the new guy that just graduated college, have over 10 years experience, some 20 and 30 years. So there's a lot of knowledge. For example, this morning we had a WASDE report that affects the grain markets. We heard it as it was happening live right when the webinar started, and the brokers that had farmers as clients, or clients that need help and assistance in this matter, we were there to help them. So back to the platform, you'll see a lot of different platforms. We have a few what we call free platforms, and then there's a few third-party platforms where you pay the platform like SDIRA chart or multi-chart or TradingView, and we connect it to our back end so you can trade directly to the exchange. And still, while you do that, you're still going to have that 4.9 reviews.
Also, Ilan, a question popped up about the time frame for trading futures. Is that 24/7?
It is. I'm going to call it 24/5.5. Because the markets open, most of the markets open Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, my time, 5 p.m. Central, and they'll remain open until 4 p.m. Friday. The following Friday was just an hour break in between, and the hour break is between 4 and 5 p.m. Central time. So yes, some clients, different parts of the world, like to trade in different times. Some clients here in the United States say, hey, I enjoy it, I like it, and I don't start work until 10 o'clock Eastern. I want to trade the first 2 hours of the market because usually there's some economic reports, there's some movement, and I want to be there. I want to try to speculate on that. So yes, you can do that. And that actually brings me to another way of trading for people or traders that do not have the time or desire to be glued for the screen for a few hours a day, or at least an hour a day, to do what we call short-term day trading, and that is the swing trading. And swing trading is something that I personally feel like you can do almost on an end of day basis. And I'm sharing with you here a coffee chart because I was assisting a client earlier today that in the coffee market, and this is a daily chart. So for me as a broker who is busy during the day and does not want or can't afford to just click buy and sell during the day session like nonstop, because I'm talking on the phone, I'm doing a webinar, etc. I like to look at the markets on an end of day basis and figure out, okay, is this market that was been selling off is finally going to go up? And I programmed a few indicators that I like that says, hey, if the volume starts rising and the volatility starts rising and XYZ happens, tell me that this is a possible buy signal. So I like to put it as a blue arrow right here, which we got on August 7th. And I have another indicator that says, hey, there's more buyers than sellers. That's what this square green tells me. Same with the maroon square, which on more sellers than buyers. And based on that, I may say, okay, I want to go long at this price. I'm going to risk X amount. My target is going to be this and that. And I can plug that into the system in a matter of 15, 20 minutes, or with the help of a broker, as what we call a swing trade. and I can go about my day, go about my business, do what I want to do, and I'm trading based on almost end of day, meaning I have a broker that in case I need to can assist, but I can make my decisions in the evening when I have time, early in the morning. I can look at the charts, and it's not like a minute to minute like when people are day trading. So that is the swing trading, and I had in mind to show you guys example. Let's take a look both at gold and copper, because both of them had some huge moves recently, and that is part of why those markets are, you need to use risk capital, but also why people are attracted, because a move like that happened when President Trump announced the tariff headline last week in copper. That happened in minutes, and it was a huge move. It was, let me see how much was that? Let me see. Because we were here in the office, and myself and my colleagues were like, oh my God, look at copper, look at copper. This is per one contract. That is 33,000 per one contract of copper that you could have been long or short with 10,000, meaning you had a chance of going negative if you're not quick enough to cover yourself. And that happened, I want to say, less than 30 minutes. So yes, it can be scary and there can be opportunity, but you need to know what you're doing. Otherwise there's more chances you're going to get hurt. This is a gold chart as of lately, and what I see here on as a swing trading basis is just a market that is plateauing right now. It cannot really break the highs. It's not really breaking support. It looks like it's range bound for a while, and that's when some traders that have experience will say, okay, I want to sell both calls and puts on both sides, and that there is risk in that. Everything that we do here, you have to figure out, okay, how much am I risking? How much am I looking to make? Like the attendee earlier asked, what is my risk reward? And once you know, you can do the calculation and figure out, okay, what is my exit strategy in case I'm right? What is my exit strategy in case I'm wrong? And sometimes clients will just have a very long-term view of markets that will have that, based on interest rates or based on financial instability or based on safe haven. Clients that wanted to go long gold, way back here before it made the big move, because they felt, okay, with all the tariffs and the situation, gold will be back to a safe haven mentality and it will go up. And some were right, some were wrong. Some were right and still did not use the right strategy and may have not made money or even lost money. You got to know what the market will do or not do, utilize the right strategy, hopefully, and then monitor it, because the markets are adaptive. They're always moving, they're always changing, and there's new information and factors that go in there. And I'm happy to answer any questions if there are some.
Yeah, we do have a question. What kinds of margins do you average for new users to the platform?
So there's two different type of margins, and I'm hoping I'm answering the right question. If not, please let me know. There's margin that we call day trading margins, which are applied for day traders, clients that are looking to get in and get out, like in the example that we give on the mini S&P, mini NASDAQ. And those traders will enjoy margins that are quite low, meaning, for example, with the mini S&P, with most of our platform, if you had $10,000 in your account and you wanted to be suicidal, stupid, I'm sorry for being blunt, you could actually buy or sell 10 contracts at a time. So that means if you went short 10 right before the report came, you'd have lost all your money within 3 minutes because of the leverage. So that is the day trading margin. And again, if I'm not answering the right question, let me know. The overnight margins are different. And that means like, okay, I am a long-term trader. I want to buy gold and I want to hold it for weeks and months. And then we will have to look at what is called the overnight margins for gold. I believe it's about 16,000 right now. Let me see. And that means that you'll know it's actually close to 20,000. And that means that if you wanted to hold one contract of gold overnight, your liquidating value, your account value has to be above that level in order to continue and being able to hold that position. And did that answer the right question, or was the question a little bit on a different angle?
They just simply said what margins for new users. So
So it's the margins for new users. It depends if they are day traders or overnight traders, and then it depends on the markets. But there'll be the same. They'll be the same across the board. It's more of a function of what platform and what market you trade.
okay, great. And we did have a question pop up about prohibited transactions and self-directed IRAs, asking about trading in an IRA account and whether or not that would be considered arm's length. And what I would tell you is, futures trading aside, IRA accounts do a lot of different investments where you have, for example, people buying stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and making those purchases, trading, buying, selling. You also have individuals that have checkbook control of their retirement account where they set up LLC, they name themselves the manager. And so ultimately the choice is up to you on how much sweat equity you feel, or at what time do you feel that you are providing sweat equity for your IRA account. But there is going to be some level of interaction with your IRA account and investments you're making. And again, if you're just not sure, it's always a great question for your accountant to assist you with. But also you're welcome to reach out to me if there's kind of more detailed questions you have regarding that, and I'm happy to answer those questions.
Thank you, Larissa.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I do see that we have about 8 minutes. So I want to just go briefly into one section or one segment that has been picking up a lot of popularity lately, and that is automated trading, algorithmic trading. And I personally like that. I like the idea of it, but I think a lot of traders, investors have an unrealistic expectations. They think just because they found an algo, that they did their homework, and over time it has produced money in the past, they'll sign up and it's going to start printing money. And that's where that little disclaimer here, well, it's a bigger disclaimer that I need to show you, is past performance is not indicative of future results. And it doesn't matter if it's an algo, a machine that was developed by somebody that's firing the trades, or a human. Past performance is not indicative of future results. But I will show you a few things here, a few different systems. And then I'll also share how you can access those systems. So let's go into our website. And if you go into platforms, you'll see iSystems Automated Trading Platform. Okay, you'll also see it under Services, Futures Trading Systems, and on the main side here. But the technology is very impressive, and you have now the ability to log in over here into a menu of many different systems, and you can sort out those systems and say, I want to go ahead and I want to have systems that have at least tracked P&L. Okay, and I want it to be positive. Oops, sorry. Okay, I'm going to add it. And then I want to have a system that are only, let's say, intraday. I'm going to add it. And you say, okay. And now it narrowed down the systems to quite a bit. And when you click on one, it will give you a very nice menu of what happened. And what you will see is quite a bit of data that can be overwhelming in the beginning, but once you know what you're looking at, it's actually very impressive presentation. You will see the total percent return. And you will see some numbers in green, some numbers in beige, and some numbers in white. White means that this is when the system, those are results based on back testing. Like this is when the developer decided, okay, I have an idea in mind. I'm going to put it into a system and I'm going to see what results it would have done. That's the back testing. So that's the first step. Then that system went on, quote unquote, the marketplace. It's being offered to client. Once it's being offered to clients, that means we track it, and we can, the developer cannot say could have, would have, should have. It really tells us what is happening in real time. However, using a demo account. As you can see, this specific system been tracked for a while, had live account here that had bad months and decided to stop. And that year it was down 2.2%. But as you can see, it's been performing relatively consistent, in my opinion, with more than average returns. That being said and done, you always got to figure out, okay, what is the drawdown? How much drawdown can I expect? And look at the worst drawdown here for this system. And meaning this is a system that in my eyes, you should not try to trade with less than 90,000, because otherwise, as soon as you have a bad month, and a bad month can be -5, 6, 7, you'll probably quit. So, but you have the ability as an investor to say, okay, I'm going to add this system, and then I'm going to take, let's say for the heck of it, this copper system that is a swing trading, and I'm going to combine them to create a small portfolio. And that's where obviously us as brokers can help you. And this is just one example. And again, I'm sharing with you some systems that we like that are good, but all those systems, look, in July, this system lost close to $14,000, okay, in 1 month. And it's down 4.7% for the year. So systems can make money, systems can lose money. You need to know what you're looking at. You need to do your homework. We're here to shorten the curve to help you. But the algorithmic systems and the algorithmic trading with the technology nowadays, I gotta be honest, it's pretty cool to see the ability, because you have the ability to say, okay, I'm gonna use this system, that system, and that system. And then let's say a specific system that you're watching, if you wanted to actually get out of before it makes profit or before it hits a loss, you have the ability to control that. So we have a variety of those. I'm gonna wrap it up here real quick. There's also what we call managed accounts, which is like trading systems 2.0, meaning managed account for the qualified person. If you qualified, you do your homework and then you tell the broker, okay, I'm gonna put 100,000 in this managed account. The account manager, what we call the commodity trading advisor, their main incentive is to produce profits, because they can take part of the profits. They can take a performance fee, or what we call an incentive fee. While with trading systems, you just usually pay a monthly fee. Some may have upfront fee. And before we end, I encourage you to do a few things, and you can try a demo of your own if you want. There's a free booklet that was put together by our regulators called Risks and Opportunities in Futures Trading. It was put together by the National Futures Association, the NFA. So if you're a newcomer, you should read it. It's actually interesting. It has great basic foundation information. The university that I shared earlier, I love it. I think it's a great tool. It's so much information that you can go through at your own pace. And last but definitely not least is our blog. Our blog, we've been doing it together since, I want to say, 2000. And every day we will put something in there like, hey, yesterday we talked about the webinar that's coming, right? But other than that, we'll also talk about, hey, look at the September-December wheat spread, Kansas City wheat spread, and what we think might happen. Here are the trading levels for the main markets. Okay, here's the reports that you need to be watch out because that CPI report is a market mover, and it sure is. Okay, and so you can come here to that daily levels, and you can click subscribe here. You'll get an email either once a day or once a week, up to you, or both, with very valuable information. And before I hand the mic and everything back over to Larissa, let's just take a look and see what is our NASDAQ do. So our NASDAQ now is, as you can see, is at 23,900. The number that I gave you earlier was 23,855. That's 45 points. Each point is $20. So that was 900 for the person that was able to go long and did not exit yet. That is negative 900 per contract for the person who went short and still in the trade. Most traders, when they go long and short, will do it with what we call automatic brackets, meaning they'll have a stop and a target. But again, there's so many different ways to trade, many ways to lose money. It's not an easy business by any means, and really futures trading is risky. However, it's attractive in my opinion. It has a lot of tools and features and foundations that attract people, including professional traders. And that's obviously why I'm here talking about it to you guys. And I appreciate the stage and the time from all of your attendees and definitely Larissa and Advanta.
Thank you, Ilan. We do have a couple of quick questions, and we had a few people ask about your fees. I imagine it depends on the level of service they choose with your company. Do you want to kind of just give us a quick overview or invite them to reach out to you?
Sure. If you are trading on your own, what we call self-directed online trader, your fees are 75 cents a side, plus there's exchange fees and platform fee. If you're trading with a broker, the fees will be anywhere from $25 a side to as low as $5 a side, depending on the frequency, the volume, and account size. And I'll give you 2 examples. I have clients that call me once every 2 weeks. We put an option together. You know, buy me a crude oil call option. It cost Mr. Jones $50, which is almost nothing in the matters of crude. Same token, we have clients that go in and out. Like while we were speaking, they probably went in and out 20 times. So they're paying 74 cents a side plus the exchange fees because they do a lot of volume. And then we have hedges that may, when they come in, they might buy 50 options at a time. So they're, even though it's broker assist, their rate might be closer to $20 a round turn and lower. So Larissa was right. Depends on the level of service and the frequency of trade, but we have actual commissions for self-directed. We have commissions on our website that pretty much will give you the numbers right there for self-directed. Again, different with broker assist.
Okay, great. And what level does AI play, or what role does AI play with algo trading?
That's a great question, probably a whole webinar on its own, because I still think you need to feed the AI your ideas to creating an algo. So I think what it does is, I'll try to give you a quick example. Instead of me coming manually and doing something of that nature, I'll show you something real quick. I want to do this, I want to do that. I want to back test. I'm trying to create an idea. I'm going to go and back test it for the last, let me do 10 years. Okay. But I have the idea, I already designed it. So I'm going to go ahead and start. And that's something that AI can probably do on its own, repeatedly while I'm writing an email and talking on a webinar and chatting to Larissa. But yet somebody needs to give the AI the foundation of what is the idea. And the AI can probably improve things, help things, but I think right now it's being utilized as almost like a power word that makes everybody excited, AI. But I see many AI systems that are not making money because still you got to feed it the formula, let it help you improve it, maybe let it execute it, but just being an AI doesn't mean nothing. And again, I believe it's a topic for a full webinar on its own one day, maybe in the near future.
Okay, great. Another question that popped up, is it possible to basically have copy trading, meaning trading in your personal account and then copy those trades into your Roth IRA trading account?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You will need to speak to one of our account executives so we can set you up with a proper platform for that, understand exactly what you're looking to do, and then we can create something that is called a sub account to the main account, and it will do that.
What happened? Here's a question. What happened to the order that was placed?
Let's take a look. Good question. So the order that was placed never got filled. It's still, the order working is still here. It's still working. Never got filled. The market never went back down. It still didn't go down. In my guess, it'll probably be sometime in the next 2 hours if we see a pullback or not. That's just based on experience, because it was a big move on a CPI. And right now, every pullback seems like there's a lot of players waiting to go back in, and that's why the markets are going the way they're going. And if I'll show you real quick over, here's the mini S&P. As you can see, it's up almost 1%. The NASDAQ up 1%. The mini Russell is up 2.3%. The Dow is up 1%. So it's a nice move, decent volume as well. And those days, though, lately have not been the common. They've been more of an exception. I've seen more days where the market is just, range bounding. We can actually take a look on the mini S&P. Yeah, this is a daily chart of the mini S&P. And you can just see the gradual uptrend, and the pullbacks we had held the support levels, and we're still trying to break new highs. And I believe that right now the algos are saying, hey, this is a bullish market, buy. And the human, it's a human trader, is like, well, yes, I'll buy, but very cautiously, because there's too many unknowns and risks with all this tariff situation and the Ukraine situation and possibly Middle East situation. So I'm going to be a cautious buyer. The algo has no emotions, so they're just going to go based on technical if that's the case, and they're probably signaling buy signal across the board.
We also had questions about how people reach you. Someone wanted to know about how they get in touch and review your blog. If you want to share your contact information, Ilan.
Yes,
We also had,
go ahead.
yeah,
I'm listening.
also question, can you trade prop firms like Blue Sky, Apex, Bullnox?
No, Apex is what they call like a funded account. We do not support that, meaning you have to fund your own account here with your own money. You can reach us. The best way to reach us is to go to our website, canontrading.com. You can call an 800 number. Any of our brokers can assist. There's an international number. On our website, again, this is a website that's been built over 20 some years with so many great information, tools, articles. You can go over to the free commodity tools, and I'm just showing you. You can sign up for 25 proven strategies. You can read about, the psychology of trading. You can take a small course, interactive course. You can sign up for intraday trading signals, how to trade economic reports. So we are very proud of our website and the amount of time and energy that we've put into it. We also have a YouTube channel. You can follow us on Facebook. We have a private Facebook group, I believe. Yes, we do. And and we'll share different insight, like, hey, have you learned about trading the mini S&P versus the mini NASDAQ instead of just, being one directional, long or short, and other types of information. So Facebook, website, and let me see our YouTube. Should be YouTube. Yeah, and that is it. And you'll see, there's videos on platforms, how to place a stop. There's videos on 5 reasons why you should do this, or 8 steps to do that. There's videos that are educational, like not why, but maybe how to look at range bar charts instead of time charts, and more and more and more. And by the way, thanks for reminding me, even though it's a demo account, I'm going to go ahead and cancel that order that we have. I'm going to say I'm done, and I just canceled that order.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Ilan. I am recording this session. That's another question that popped up. The link to the email, the link to the video will be in your email. And so you will get that usually at the end of the day or tomorrow at the latest. And so you'll be able to review this webinar. Again, the slides are attached in the handouts for you, but I can also email them to you. When you get the email reminding you that it was recorded with the link, you can also reply and request the slides if you did not have time or you were unable to download those slides. Please feel free to reach out to me with any questions on self-directed IRAs. And of course, please reach out to Ilan with any questions on futures trading. Thank you so much, Ilan. This was very informative.
Thank you, Larissa, and thank you everybody that attended and for the questions. And I hope to see you guys come across our website and possibly exploring trading futures with Canon Trading and your Advanta IRA.
Great. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye-bye.